when I started my business, I actually started with $0 in the bank, right? I invested none of my money.
Guys, so we got a new episode of the One Podcast here. I'm pumped up for this one with Samin here from AI Answer. He's got a super cool viral tool, I would say, a super genius in the world of like AI outbound, which is kind of like the craze right now. So I'm curious to get his takes, both on building his own business and just like the space as a whole. And I'm also curious to hear the backstory. So, we got an audience of early stage entrepreneurs here. You want to give like a quick 2-minute background on you and kind of how you started the company before going more in depth?
Sure. All right. Thanks for having me on, Chris. It's great. But yeah, just for the how I got started. So I basically was corporate all my life, right?
Okay.
I did the regular stuff. I went to a good college. I went to NYU. I studied in CS.
Nice.
Then I went to JP Morgan. I worked for a little bit, and then I went to Amazon. I worked there, but recently I just quit from there. And why is because the AI revolution kind of started.
Nice.
I thought this is literally the best time for anyone that's a little bit techie to get into entrepreneurship. And I think I was right because like it's been working pretty well.
Nice.
From then I kind of like started up my business, and it's actually been really recent. This has not been like it's been like, let's say 4 to 5 months that I've done it, and I've almost already like caught up to my old nice cushy job. So it's going pretty well. I think it's a great place to be. I'm having a lot of fun, and we're making some cool shit.
Cool. I guess just going back to your background like a little bit. So I was an engineer in college at Penn. So I've been around a lot of like kind of smart, super intelligent engineer types. I ended up like going a totally different direction. But like I know a lot of people who go and work at like Amazon or Apple or Google or big tech company, and the kind of environment that's in. Did you always sort of have like a entrepreneur kind of gene, or kind of something going on in the background that made you sort of think about taking this jump when AI and stuff starts taking off this last year?
Yeah, honestly, I've actually never always wanted to be in corporate. I was just there because it's cushy, it's easy, right?
Sure.
What I thought the corporate actually really helps with, and the degrees and everything, is it gives you instant credibility that you can actually
Yeah.
do something, right?
Yeah.
And that actually, what I've seen is that really helps. So when I'm actually pitching my product, or if someone's like, "Hey, what do you guys do? What's your background?" If I say like, "Hey, you didn't go to," if someone hears like you didn't go to college or something, then they're always push you down a lot.
Yeah.
But when they hear about all this stuff, or even they, people
Oh,
look you
yeah.
up, they see your LinkedIn, and they're like, "Whoa, okay, this is
Yeah.
someone legit," and it makes
Yeah.
selling and getting credibility so much easier.
That's so true. It's actually super true. Like I never went into the corporate world or anything, but like forming my first company, just saying, "Oh, you went to Penn," or giving them that kind of like professional background. It's your main selling point to begin with. And I know a lot of people, like this other guy I talked to. He's got a company called Traba, that's like workforce management. He was ex Uber. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it plays into the story very well, and especially if you're trying to do something like in a SaaS, that totally makes sense to me. So it seems like you maybe had that kind of inkling in the back of your head, just like being intelligent
Always, yeah.
going into that. The personal branding. But I guess in any case, like why AI, why like B2B kind of SaaS, like where did your interest in that kind of come from?
So there, I guess AI is something just I'm pretty sure most people are interested in it, but why is because I think when you actually dive deep into AI, you get to see that how useful it is for society, and like you can actually solve real world business problems, right? And yes, there is some direct to consumer, but I think when you go B2C, it's like a lot different. I think when you're doing more sophisticated, you're making more sophisticated algorithms, you can charge more. I think in B2B SaaS, you can make a lot more money,
Yeah.
which is a big motivation for most people. It's a lot easier, and it's just more useful in my opinion. Because I'm running a business, I basically build the business I'm building now because I'm lazy and I wanted something that would help me out or help people in this situation. So that's what kind of like stemmed why I'm making like these AI phone
Yeah.
calls. We have like SMS and email right now as well. So it's basically you get a whole outreach team for just
Yeah.
in just software, and
Yeah.
there's no
Well,
churn. It's all
just
good.
going back to that B2B question, it's like the feedback is more direct. Like my first
Oh
company was
yeah,
B2C, and you could be wandering around trying to do the next Facebook or crazy thing for like 2 or 3 years. Like you don't know where to focus. Where at least with B2B, whether it's SaaS or service, like you're focusing on a need and there's like direct implications. It's kind of one to one. So I totally understand kind of going for that. So did I mean, maybe you were doing freelancing on the side or something, but did you have like any kind of experiences with sales or cold calling that, or even just like customer support stuff that sort of lended it to the product, which obviously we'll get into more, but
So yeah, actually, so when I started my business, I actually started with $0 in the bank, right? Well, what I'm trying to
nice.
say is like I invested none of my money into it. So
Okay.
what I was like, okay, can I
The
build a
product side
business?
of it. Got
The
it.
pro no, like yeah, when I started like my LLC and everything, I started with zero, nothing.
Got it.
So I was like, okay, can I build a business from $0 up to, like a monthly, at least at the very least 20 a month,
Yeah.
right? And how I started doing that is like by freelancing, as you said. When you have a bit of experience, it's very easy to get these kind of gigs. And I
Yeah.
built some capital there and started reinvesting it. And
Nice.
that's how I kind of got my start. And then I saw a quick need in the market when I was doing my freelancing. You have to do a lot of outreach, right? And this is crazy. This is so time consuming that you actually cannot focus on the real work and the stuff that is meaningful.
You can't keep up with
So
it. Yeah.
yeah. So if you basically, I thought, if I can automate all this, that is so much time saved, which is also so much money saved. And in that way, am like, okay, this is gonna be a fantastic SaaS that I can build. Although it's super complex, we started doing it because I thought I knew how I could do it. At that point, AI was just coming out. 11 Labs came out.
Nice.
ChatGPT was there. Their API was there, and Twilio was always there, right? So you just connect all three together, and you get a nice little voice conversation with AI. Now it's a lot more complicated, but at that point, that was it. That's all you needed.
So were you? I guess when you were developing it to begin with, you were kind of using it for your own sort of freelance outreach, just to like support the operation. Is that kind of what you were
Yeah,
getting
so
at
that
there?
was initially my yeah, I
Purpose
did
of
use it.
developing it. I gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm lazy, I'm a developer, I'm literally going to develop this so I can use it for
Nice.
myself. But
Smart.
there's a big use case.
Cool. Okay, cool. So that makes total sense to me. So did you mentioned like some of the competitors and stuff. Like, did you mess around with any other like AI automated outreach type thing when just to like getting those first few freelance clients?
So at that point, actually, none of those existed
Yeah.
because I started a while back. Because
Okay,
I
got
was
it.
just like one person doing it, it took a little longer. And now I have a team.
Nice.
But how we're approaching the problem is a lot more niche than most of the other competitors. The
Got it.
other competitors give you like a random, like mostly like a SaaS platform, and they're like, go ahead and do it yourself, right?
You
But
set
I
it up
just wanted
for
way
them.
more control. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, got it. So you're almost doing it in sort of like a more enterprise type fashion where it's not sort of like DIY where they have to come in and you're kind of customizing it to meet. I think you were talking about like I can't remember which niche, but like specific niches, lawyers, you know what I'm saying? Different types of practices, I guess, have different applications of the product.
Yeah, more so where I think what we've seen is this is from just demand itself. I'm trying to
Nice.
dictate what demand dictates the product, and most of what I've gotten is people that want to resell it to these people. Like for example, I don't have a big network of lawyers,
Agencies. Yeah.
agencies, yeah, but they know their niche really well. What I can do is if I can help them and train them and do the service delivery, they would just have to focus on the marketing, and
Got
everybody
it.
wins there, right?
Yeah. Got it. Okay. So then from a business perspective, are you thinking about that like from a white label? Like is it totally white labeled? Are you billing them like per client or how do you think about the monetization and pricing
I
model
guess
there?
that is yeah. There is some thought there. Right now they are white labeling it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Uh and there's a lot of success when you white label it just because you can put your own spin on it, right? You can integrate to a lot of products. Like some people have been integrating it to go high level. which works out
Yep.
pretty well. Some people have these other CRMs like Follow Up Boss. The real estate people really use that. And our product is basically like an API, but we have a really nice dashboard now too that others can use.
Got it. So break that down. So I guess for people who are like unfamiliar with the product itself, like what people are using it for, they can really use it for any type of function, but they're using it for like direct cold calling. Like you, instead of using a power dialer, you would use AI answer.
You could use AI answer, but I don't think cold calling is the best use of this.
Got it.
Yeah, I think because cold calling, I think what happened recently was for cold calling itself, there was a new law passed that you can't do AI calls anymore. But what you can do is more of the legal use cases, which is like more so inbound. And let's say you have permission, so you can like reactivate a lead if they've been a previous lead, or you want to reactivate them. But basically, if you want to break down what our product does, just like the one-liner tagline, it's so we make AI appointment setters for businesses who need to book more appointments so they can boost their sales and revenue. If you want to tie it together, and why I say AI appointment setters and not AI phone calls is because we also do SMS and email. So you have a triage that's helping get your bottom line
Got it.
up.
Got it. So it's like the full cadence
Exactly.
for them. And then, but people are using it for also like customer support or inbound, queries and stuff. Like your standard sort of Ring Central stuff.
Yeah, inbound is very easy. Inbound, we've seen. I don't know if you. I released a couple of videos of these like case studies where we've
Yep.
helped like what's it called, like these service like HVAC, right? If they're small business, they can't
Right.
take
Okay.
on so many of these calls. So the AI is there to help them out, take the calls, qualify them, and then put it into their CRM. So all they can focus on is just doing the job.
Closing, doing the business, doing the job.
Yep.
Cool. What I guess is it like terribly different between different industries in terms of just like the work that your dev team or you put into setting everything up?
I don't think it's terribly different. I think what it comes down to, honestly, is just the prompting and the models. So different industries will have different prompting. So they would just niche it down to their use case. And the only other big thing is integrating it with their CRM. So
Mm,
because our thing has a very open API,
got it.
that means you can just use code or no code to integrate it into your CRM very easily with like Zapier or Make.
Sure. Just like classic. Okay, cool. So I guess you mentioned like a couple of those video case studies that you did. I saw the Hormozi one, which was
Oh
like
yeah.
pretty cool use case. Is that like is a big piece of it like and I don't know if that was just a publicity thing, but is a big piece of it like you can make it sound like you or a specific person? Like is
Yeah, a
the
lot of people
actual
do like
persona
that.
important?
Some people really, really want. Okay, so for example, this is one use case, right? So imagine a car
Okay.
dealership.
Yep.
What they want is they want their salesman. If there is an AI version of that salesman,
Yeah.
to clone their voice, right, and then do the qualifying calls automatically for the salesman, because the salesmen are
Right.
normally, yeah, I've heard they're a little
That's what I was thinking
overwhelmed
about.
or
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
busy. Yeah, but you can literally just clone their own voice and use that to just be like, hey, I'm the AI version of X person, and then or not, it's up to you, but you can use that as a qualifying call,
Yeah,
and
because
they know who you're
so
calling.
one issue that I had, oh, I had an email marketing agency for 6 years that I got out of last year.
Mhm.
And basically we worked with a lot of companies where the persona on the email outreach was the founder, right? But
Ah,
the person replying back and forth from their email alias is like one of their employees or sales reps, etc. And
mhm.
so like one of the issues was like who takes that qualification call, you know what I'm saying? Who does the follow up before the meeting, because the person who reached out was the founder, and that's like part of where the I guess like the value comes in or why they would want to take the call. So when I heard about what you're doing, I was thinking like, could you have the voice of the founder of the company
Yeah,
through the
of course.
appointment scheduling function?
Why not? Of course you can. It's
You don't
actually
Are
very
there any
easy.
implication, like I guess in practice, having done this for companies, have you seen any like implications where issues arose that were like I don't know. Like, did anything come up
Yeah.
where it was like people were pissed off
Not
about that
yet.
or no?
Commercially, if we ever do anything, we only have consent. We have to have consent for the person that we're cloning the voice of, right?
Got
So
it.
we
So
would
I
just
get
like
that
ignore them.
piece.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about the other, like, if the customer ever figures out that this is, you
yeah.
know,
I mean, the best way to do it is just be honest, right? If you're
yeah,
honest, then nobody cares. It's just
nobody
you
gives.
just be like, hey, I'm the AI version of X, and just throw
Okay,
any
cool. So
joke
it's
you
like a
can at that.
cool marketing. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. So it's like transparent, but it shows them that like they're, the company is invested in like
Yeah,
creating better customer support and engagement experiences. So that
yeah.
that makes total sense to me. So you're advising people, I guess, to just like be straight up with that.
I think
Um,
honesty is always the best. Just be
yeah,
honest, and I think everyone's fine with it.
yeah, yeah.
'Cause
That
would you
totally
rather
makes
be on
sense.
hold for like I don't know 40 minutes, or would you rather talk to like an AI with a knowledge base that can help you actually might be able to help you solve your problem and or transfer you to the right person?
Cool. Cool. So I'm interested in, I guess, like talking a little bit more about just like what you're doing as far as growing the business, being like a first time business owner. I talked to a guy a few weeks ago who has company Salesforge. It's like a AI competitor to Smartlead and that type of thing. Um, but he's doing a lot of like community engagement, like the short form TikTok content, a lot of inbound. I guess inbound you could call it. Like, what's been, for in terms of your funnel, like how do you think about driving engagement? Do you do outbound for yourself, like reaching out to specific sectors or niches? Or are you doing it all sort of inbound through this like content marketing?
So initially I was doing inbound, but now I've like realized the next phase, and this is probably the secret, that creator led um creator led businesses are going to explode. I'm pretty sure I think
Okay.
there was the YC released a report too like this, but
Hmm.
creator led businesses actually you can have trust in them because you know who's behind it. It's not a faceless corporation, right? People are actually there's real people behind it.
Yeah.
It helps, and I from that you get a lot of inbound. I used to do outbound, but not anymore, just because we can barely handle the demand we're getting for inbound. Because it's
Right.
cool new tech, right? It's a lot of people want it.
Well, that's one of the things that I think people deal with is like if they have a product, like you're talking about the order of doing it inbound and then outbound, which is just like if you have a product, you do a lot of inbound, it kind of validates the concept, there's demand for it. The question is then do you go out and like try to get it aggressively in front of everybody? And it may sell itself, but it's like the amount of issues that's going to create for your organization, you know what I'm saying? And just like headache for you personally is probably heavy, you
I
know?
think it. I personally think it depends on size of your org. If you have a lot of
Got it.
people, a lot of support, a lot of engineers, then I think
It's
just
worth
being a
it.
good CEO, you should market in all aspects, right? You should
Sure.
do all four, like or was it eight? That you should run paid ads, you should run cold emails, you run the what was it, LinkedIn DMs, everything of those. Also, you should do the inbound, the content marketing, affiliates, use resellers, etc. If you don't do all of them, then it's not really a complete business. But it's better, I think, to focus on one first and then prove
Okay.
your product market fit and get rolling. And I've
Yeah.
chosen the content part just because it's organically like new and very interesting.
Did you have like are you somebody who's like consumes a lot of like video content, like or has done, like a YouTube channel or that type of thing in the past? Like how did you get so familiar like with the do you know what I'm saying? Like is that something that just comes naturally to you?
No, I mean, it's not like I'm natural. I just started. It's like I'm like, okay,
Nice.
I used to watch a bunch of videos. So and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
like every like the scientific method you applied to YouTube, and then you're like, okay,
Got it.
what
Okay.
works on YouTube, right?
Reverse engineer. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, storytelling. You basically package up a really good idea and some value that people would maybe really like to hear, and then you package. Like if you have an experience, you can build a story around it, and then
Yeah.
when you tell that story with some educational value, people normally love it.
And
So
have you
that's the
found
power of
that
my content.
people that come in like or I think you mentioned it before, but you were also running like a Discord for I guess the people who are, customers and whatnot, people who are interested. Like have you found like that I guess the where you're or where they're coming from inbound in terms of like the prospects to be like have a different intent level than maybe from another channel. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I started like a Discord recently for some stuff I'm doing too. I'm like, is it a different audience? I guess on YouTube or Discord or Twitter or LinkedIn or
Yeah,
whatever.
I guess it depends, right? In YouTube, I've seen there's a very big mix of like big business owners. Also,
Sure.
there's a lot of people that are just starting out. My Discord I've seen is people like, let's say they really want fast questions and they want some help. I'm
Yeah.
there 24/7. I'm trying to help out as much as I can, right? I'm trying to provide value without, gatekeeping anything. Because, I think it's good to that have a community. It's also just fun. I think it's nice to have a community and like help out the community for people that are starting out. Just because had to do months of research doesn't mean everyone has to. I can basically democratize that information. Hmm. Yeah, always happens.
Nice.
Okay.
You all good?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I might have to go back to Zoom, dude. I'm having issues like every time with this, but um, maybe it's because it's like I don't know. But I guess okay. So we just got into the different channels. So yeah. So I guess beyond like the YouTube and Discord, like what are other? Have you used any other channels or like Reddit or I don't know anything more traditional or what's been like from just like a getting the word out there point?
Honestly, I've been kind of lacking in this department. I think the only things I've taken a little bit serious is YouTube, but I'm still like, yeah, my content, it takes some time to build because I like having undeniable proof because I like doing the stuff myself before I tell people, hey, this is a good opportunity or something. So that's why I try to do my experiments, have my own case study, and then make my videos. But I've also been releasing a lot on Twitter, and Twitter's been pretty good too. I really need to start posting on LinkedIn and I
Yeah.
think other social medias like Instagram and TikTok. But slowly, we're scaling up this operation slowly.
You mentioned creator economy and stuff like that, and just the attention economy, and also the white label, or not the white label, but just working with these agencies. Have you thought about partnering with like other creators
Oh yeah,
on
we
these
actually
different
are.
platforms?
Yeah, we
So how's that going?
already. Of course, it's great. I love working with
Nice.
other creators. We have there's a lot of creators that help out. I mean, there's a couple of creators that really help me out. Namely, I think there was what's it called? Liam just posted a video about me, Liam Otley.
Nice.
That really helped my business. And then Alex, no code Alex, his content's been great. He's been helping out a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot of bigger creators than me that kind of like help me kind of boost and influence my content too. So
Nice.
and now like I work with them. I talk to them here and there, and it's great. Learning from these guys is fantastic.
Yeah. Are you doing that organically? Or are you trying to set up some type of like brand ambassador or like how organized is something like that?
It's actually not very organized, I guess, but
Yeah.
it's it
It's
happens.
more
Creators know
organic.
other
It happens.
creators.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but these guys are really smart. I love talking to them.
Nice.
Just having that like insight into what they're up to and what might be good, and having everyone work together
Yeah.
to actually boost a community is fantastic.
Well, yeah. Um, cool. So like what's the net I mean, you mentioned I guess or alluded to some of it before, but like what's taking up your time for the most part now? Is it mostly just the sales calls and like interacting with customers? Is it the dev side of it? Is it the marketing? What's at the stage of the business that you're at where you've kind of launched, you've got that validation revenue coming in. What's the biggest what are some of the biggest pain points and just like time drains?
I guess the time drain, yeah, that's I really want to be doing way more content, but the
Yeah.
time drain there, I think for me, is that I'm doing actually a lot of the sales calls. I'm doing all the sales calls, I'm doing a lot of the customer discovery. I'm also doing a lot of the development and product building on that side. So maybe I'm trying to hand off and delegate more and more from the tech side. Like I have
Got
a
it.
really cool team now, which the team actually I built the team off people that watched my channel and like had similar
That's
interests,
yeah.
and
I figured
that's
that
the
was the
best
case.
because they have motivation. So
And they get
that
it. They're in the same. Yeah. If you just had random people who were like not like super into this space, like would they really like? You know what I'm saying? Like they probably it would be a lot more work to get them to be motivated and sort of in that space. You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, honestly, like content is such a cheat code to business because it's literally helps you build your external pipeline so
Yeah.
you can like get clients, but no one remembers that it also helps you get your internal pipeline up so you can get
Yeah.
talent to work with you.
Yeah.
So it's all around and it's a small investment too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's just
That
hard.
makes
That's
sense.
all.
Um, I guess. So what are your objectives? Like, do you have a certain target that you're trying to hit, like revenue wise? Like a certain market you're trying to corner? Like, what? Obviously, this is like a product that has very broad applicability, and that like you could be going to like there's I had a client that was servicing like massive call centers. They had like tens of thousands of customers, and they were doing some of this stuff programmatically, manually. And that's like, you know what I'm saying? So there's such tremendous sort of application for this technology, but like how big are you trying to go with it in terms of scaling? And yeah, how are you just thinking about like your long-term goals?
So long term, I think from the product market fit I've already gotten that this could be somewhat of a really big company.
Yeah.
Right. Initially I was like, hey, haha, I'm gonna make a nice product for myself. But no, I was wrong about that. This has some serious power behind it. And everyone that uses is really liking it. So I think well then now I'm like, okay, should I raise VC funding or not? Right. But if I do, then I have to give up a lot of control. So I'm like battling with that a little bit. Although I don't need the capital, it's nice to hit your foot on the gas just because we have so many things happening at the same time.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like that's probably a tough question for you because it is something where you could do it. You know what I'm saying? Where you've already shown that you can, grow without the VC backing, and there's just like how much where you're putting your time works, right? And now you can buy some of your time back to like do more time in the content, etc. But it's like, do you go for the VC and lose a little bit of that control?
Which
You
is
know what I'm
fine.
saying?
I'm
So
honestly looking for more partners.
yeah,
That's more so on the sales and marketing side, just because I have a lot of tech talent right now. Because I know how to vet a tech talent. Right now, I'm more looking for experienced founders that are on the other side,
yeah,
so they can take over more of the sales role or the
yeah.
operations.
Yeah, I don't buy like the VC like doom and gloom kind of stories that it's like you're ceding away all this control. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say that type of stuff, or on the flip side, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I think that it's really a personal decision. It's just like, are you comfortable with like a little more
Yeah.
accountability? You know what I'm saying? And having some stakeholders, but I don't think it's like make or break for the business or even the scaling of the business.
There's just a lot of lawyer fees when you go for VC funding. That's the
Yeah.
only
Yeah. It's just like
caveat.
another thing to spend a bunch of time on. So it's like, is that money and that faster growth kind of like worth it for you and like maybe a little more security? But I don't think it's like such a cut and dry decision where it's, all good or all bad.
That's what being a
Um,
founder is, right? And always you're dealing with like confusion. What should I do? Is this even going to work? But I mean, but it gets better when you keep like chipping away.
yeah. Nice. So I guess tying everything together, you seem pretty like plugged into the space. What are some other creators that you follow who you think are like putting out really good stuff, or early stage founders who are like in similar positions to you? And or like what are some tools and platforms that you're using that are new that are helping you a ton? Not Riverside.
I guess yeah. There's a lot of tools. There's so many tools that you could use, but one tool that a lot of people don't use, I think it's called Perplexity AI.
Perplexity.
That thing is
Yeah.
so good. It's like for research.
Okay.
Perplexity is incredible. I would say 100% look into that. And then if people are good at coding, then maybe you can look into some automations. But if you're not, you can get a free version of like, Zapier and stuff like that. There's this
Yeah.
thing called N8N that I really like. There's also this thing called Active Pieces, which is these are all open source, so it's free. You can just run it on your computer, right? People are paying like hundreds and thousands of dollars a month for like Zapier and Make.com, where you can just use stuff like this for free. Other things we've been using. This is and this is probably one of my favorite tools. It's Notion. It's super
I'm upset,
overrated,
dude.
but I love it.
Yeah,
It's
dude. I have like
keeps me
1,000
really
zaps
focused.
going in Notion for different businesses. I got like 200 people from like previous years on Notion. I've been obsessed with it for the last 6 years.
It's great.
You know what I'm
I
saying? Like I
love it.
spend more time on Notion than anything else. Like when you go and look at like your screen time hours. So that's a definitely. I feel like that's
Yeah,
a. It's just like if you're like a founder who's just like very productivity centric and just like creative, like it does all the things. You know what I'm saying? That all the
for
other
sure.
stuff does.
Yeah,
So
and it's so nice. It's well designed. It's beautiful, and it keeps you focused. That's the trick, right?
yeah,
And one of the
and
biggest hacks I had, I use like this little timer. I don't know, I don't have it on my desk right now, but if I'm like losing focus, the best thing I can
Pomodoro
do,
type deal.
yeah, it's not even you like you're like okay, I got to do this, I got to do X task. I think X task is gonna take 45 minutes. I have a little timer that I like spin to 45 minutes. I click it, and then I keep looking at it. I'm like, okay, uh, am I on track? So if I'm doing something else, then I know I'm veering away. So that really is a nice reminder and keeps you focused. And if you can do
Have you ever
that,
used Sunsama?
Sama,
Sunsama.
I have not. How's that?
This is gonna be with what you just told me there about Notion and like your schedule and everything. This is gonna be like your next big thing. I'm
Awesome.
send I'm sh- I'm gonna sh- I'm shooting you the link and I'll shoot it also in like the show notes for everybody. But basically, it time boxes your day automatically, so you sync in whatever you need from Notion, and then it'll have that little timer pop up in the side of the screen with the countdown. So let's say you said the task was going to take like 20, 30 minutes. Now it's
Mhm.
showing you the countdown, so you're kind of like rushing yourself to finish it, and then boom,
Uh,
hits you with the next one like preloaded up, so you could just work like a machine. I guess that's our biggest fantasy, right? Is to just be a machine. So
Sometimes it's also nice not to. You got to remember to take
yeah,
your small breaks when you can. Morgan is a
exactly.
really good calendar app too. That does something similar. I just found it.
Okay,
So
got it. Nice.
there's so many tools.
Cool. So I guess just any other stuff that you've learned or things that you want to highlight to like people who are getting started, or maybe they are working at Amazon and like they want to quit and start their own company. Like what's the biggest thing to do?
I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing to do is first be safe. Think, hey, do I really want to do this? Because being a founder is not easy.
Yeah,
I love this quote. It's like founders are the people that will work 100 hours a week so they don't have to work 40.
yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if you're ready to do that and you have your reasons straight on why you would do that and how you would do that, even if you do fail, embracing failure is a big part of it. So keep doing it, like keep trying stuff, keep learning. Always be on YouTube. Maybe it's a very easy way to like consume some information that you should apply. As long as you can do that and keep going, then I think most people will be fine.
Nice. Where can people find you, and how do they start? If they want to use the product, where do they go and get going with you?
For sure, yeah. So they can find me on my YouTube channel or my Discord. But my YouTube channel is Samin Yasar. It's just my name.
Okay.
And from there, if you want to use my product, then it's aianswer.us. So I try to make a nice play on AI answer us, AIANSWER.us.
Nice.
And yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Thanks for coming on, man. We'll link everything in the show notes, and this is the One Podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Now I'm basically starting a new company, which is going to be an app marketing